and welcome to another Scottish mountain walking guide with full walk time lapse and commentary from the walk. In today's video I'll show you the route and walk for Beinn Dubhchraig Ben Oss. As always, links to the OS map for the route, the starting point car park and the Scottish Mountain Weather website are included in the description below. The starting point for Beinn Dubhchraig Ben Oss is the Dalrigh car park around a mile from Tyndrum and an hour and a half's drive from Glasgow. The car park fits around 25 cars, although it has become a popular spot for overnight camper vans. Donations are welcome and there are no height restrictions. The closest public toilet is in Tyndrum. The total distance for today's walk is a little under 18 kilometres with 1292 metres of ascent, and it is expected to take around 6.5 hours to walk. The route that I have taken for today's walk is not the most direct or easiest to navigate. I've also included a link to the direct route, which is only around 200 metres shorter, but it is a fair bit easier to navigate as there are well-worn and clear paths to follow. I've chosen this route as it provides for more of a circuit to walk around rather than simply walking to the top and retracing your steps back to the start. So starting at the car park, you're going to head in a southeasterly direction, turning left as you leave the car park. There are two exits. There's a walking exit at the end of the car park and you can exit by the same entrance that you drove in to get to the car park. You follow this road and it's a tarmac road, and it goes down and over a bridge. There is a gate around about here, so you cannot park further down this road. Cross the bridge, and after crossing the bridge you're going to turn directly to your right and follow a gravel track. This is a very clear and easy track to follow, and it runs alongside the railway track. It then eventually comes to a bridge that goes over the railway track. Again, there is another gate here, and this gate is actually quite heavy and it will swing quite wide open if you let it, so just be careful when opening that gate. Follow the gravel trail a little bit further, but then quite soon after crossing the bridge you're going to turn right again and go down a nice clear well-made path. It's a gravel path, but it is in good condition. Follow that path and it will cross over a bridge, and it's quite a large wooden bridge, a reasonably new structure. Cross over the bridge and again immediately turn to your left having crossed the bridge. There are a couple of little paths going off here, but you want to go up alongside the river to start with. That path is fairly well made. There are sections that are a little bit boggier and a little bit muddy that you do have to cross over from time to time, but the majority of the path is in good condition. And it's a really nice Scottish pine woods that you walk through here. A nice walk up through this woodland here. Then when you come up to this point, the main path bends to the left, and you would hardly even know there was another path coming off going straight ahead. You just walk and follow the path and you'll naturally turn to your left and go closer to this little stream. And you follow that path up and keep going. Now the path itself continues straight up here to the Beinn. There is no path when you cross over to the side here, so I crossed over here to join the ridge. You can see the ridge in the distance and it's quite easy to navigate to that, assuming you're not in cloud. So if you're going to follow this route you're going to be heading southeast. And once you join the ridge there is actually a faint path on the ridge, but it from time to time just disappears, so it's not consistent. But you make your way up the highest point of the ridge and that takes you directly to the summit of Beinn Dubhchraig. From that summit there is a clear and obvious path that takes you back down to the Beinn and where the main path actually joins, and there's a little cairn, and from there you're going to turn left and follow this path round the side of these little lock-ins here. There's two of them that you see. You walk by the side of them and then the path bends and starts to descend gently to begin with, and then it gets quite steep at this point as you make your way down here. You'll drop down and then it'll flatten off again, and then you'll come to a cairn here, and on top of this cairn somebody's actually carved into the rock top of Ben Oss to your right, so it's actually giving you directions, which is quite unusual. You can simply go to the right here, follow the main path all the way up to the summit, but as you'll see from my time lapse I chose to go round and underneath the summit of Ben Oss and then bend back. The path along here is all clear except for this bit here, it gets a bit faint, but you just want to keep heading sort of south west at that point. It then bends round. In the actual video the path went on a little bit further and came round a little bit here. So I did come up and then I cut back across and then joined the path again. But this path up here was fairly faint, so it's a bit indistinct. Head north and uphill, so northwest slightly and uphill. Gets a bit further up and the path gets clearer until you reach the summit of Ben Oss. And then from the summit of Ben Oss, following the main path, it's very clear and obvious. You head north to start with and then it bends round northeast. There's a little, you're descending here to this point and there's a little climb back up and over this small top, and it works its way back down to that cairn I mentioned. From the cairn, you're heading mostly in an easterly direction, back up this fairly steep slope. It takes you up to where the small lochans are, and back to, there's a cairn here that marks this Beinn. If you're wanting the easiest route to go home, then I would follow the path that's shown here back down. It's very clear and obvious. I wanted to try a slightly different route and also less of a steep decline, so a gentler decline down. This path is marked on the OS maps. It's difficult to follow to start with. There are sections that are clearer than other bits and other bits very little to follow. Work your way down. I did use the GPS to try and keep on top of it, and I think around about here the path did start to get quite clear and a lot easier to follow. And you make your way back down and you're aiming for the corner of the woods that you can see here. From there you join up with the original path that you ascended on. This section right here, there's hardly any signs of a path, just this bit here. From there you retrace your steps all the way back down to the bridge, turn to your right, cross the bridge, follow the path back, then go over the railway bridge and then follow the gravel road back to the main tarmac road. Again, cross another bridge and go back up to the car park. Hello and good morning. I'm back at the Dalrigh car park. Today I'm going to climb Beinn Dubhchraig Ben Oss. And so leaving the car park, you go left and head in a south direction. I'm going to go this way for a short distance so we can cross over the river and then we'll turn right. Going down through that gate, going to cross the river, but when we turn right we're going to go up there. So the Beinn Dubhchraig is up in the cloud and we're going to walk up the gully there in the centre frame. Depending on what it looks like, I might go up to the ridge on the left and just head up the ridge. It gives you more of a circular route, and Ben Oss is way in the distance in the background, way in the cloud, so it's further back. There's a couple of junctions in the path here. This is actually the West Highland Way crossing this road, and we don't want to go down that path to the right, just a little bit too soon. We want to just go straight ahead and cross over the bridge. After you've crossed the bridge, then you can turn to the right. Just crossing that bridge. There's a gate to go through, and you can see the path on the right just there. So I'm just going to take this track on the right, and it's going to go pretty much straight on for a while, and then it's going to cross the railway track on the left. It's a lovely calm morning, and shockingly I've not been attacked by midges yet. There's no breeze. Overcast. Forecast says that mist will clear up about 9 o'clock. The track takes you to the railway crossing. So go through the gate and then keep to the right. So we're going off onto the right. Well, this is a beautiful part of the walk. Flowing river, Scots Pine wood to go through. Just crossing another river using a bridge. Once you cross this bridge, take the path to the left, so sharp left, and follow that. After this, it's probably only one way up through this little valley we're going up, or gully. Once we get to the top of the gully, there are 3 different routes to take you up onto Beinn Dubhchraig. It just depends on, for me, how wet it is. My preference is to go to the left and go up the ridge, but you've got to cut across and gain 100 metres in altitude across an area that doesn't really have a path. And so if the heather and grass is wet, you're going to get very wet going that way. And then there's 2 more direct routes, straight ahead, and one that goes round to the right. Oh! That's very boggy. So I'll just see when I get up there. Obviously I'll have already explained which route I'm taking in the description. That path up through the woods isn't bad. A little bit boggy and swampy at places, but you really just cross over those sections. The majority of it's a good path to walk on. Just coming up to the clearing once we get out of the woods. Levels off a bit, and it's at that point I can make a decision about going left, straight ahead, or to the right. All of them will take us up to the summit of Beinn Dubhchraig. Hoping that this cloud will lift. There's a chance it'll clear. Yeah, it's currently 9:30 in the morning. When you come to this crossing of a very small stream, quite distinct by the rock formation, the OS maps shows a path going straight up in line with those trees there and straight ahead. The main path and the more clearly defined route goes to the left. So I'm going to go to the left. That will also give me the option slightly further up if it looks okay to cross right across onto the ridge. You can see the ridge just there. So if it's not too wet, and it's not been too bad so far, I'll cross across onto that ridge and then follow that ridge up to the summit. I'm going to try and come back down the path that's not very clear that takes you to the right here, but we'll see what it's like at the top. So I'm going to the left and following the main route here. You can see with us walkers coming down, that's where the main path goes. It goes straight on and then it goes up a fairly steep section to the Beinn. From there you go left to get to the summit of Beinn Dubhchraig. But I'm going to cross over just a little bit further up there, and then I'm going to cross across to the ridge on the left, and then from there you can follow that ridge, and it also takes you up to the summit. It saves you having to retrace your steps up the top, so you go in a more circular motion and then continue straight on to Ben Oss, which is in the distance in the cloud. So right here the path starts to bend to the right. Like I say, I'm going to just go and cross over and go up onto the ridge over there. Yeah, the cloud is closing in all around. Might be the last view on the way up. Almost onto this ridge. I expect there'll be a path in it. We'll see. Now that I'm on this ridge, I'm going to head southwest. This time there is only one top, so as long as I'm going up, I can't get lost. Unlike last week's video. So you can see it ahead. It's going to get a bit steeper up there, but and yeah, I can't see a path yet. Into the light cloud, and I've also found, as predicted, there is a path here. Quite faint, but easy enough to follow. There's not much of a path on this ridge, and if there is, I can't seem to follow it. As long as you keep heading southwest and keep climbing, you'll be going in the right direction. It's not far now. It's flattening off a bit here. Just approaching the summit of Beinn Dubhchraig, 978 metres. A little bit breezier up here. Wind's coming from the south. Not really much point in hanging around, nothing to see. So from that summit, you turn right, going the way I've gone, and heading directly west. You're going to go down to the Beinn, and then you head south from there, go left. There's another couple of ways up and down Ben Oss. I'm going to go along underneath it to the left, and then go up a steep ascent, and then over the top and back down to the right, making more of a circuit rather than straight up and down. Slight correction, we're heading northwest, a little bit more west than northwest, but it's not exactly directly west. Once we get down to the Beinn, we then head directly west. down to this grassy section. You'll see there's a path. I want to go to the left here and then go along this way. If you had just continued up the path I was on this morning, that would have brought you up to this point here on my right. So you would have come up here and then you would go up there. I'm going to go across to that pointy rock there, follow this path. There's also a path that goes straight on there. You see a path on the other side. I'm going to go straight ahead here, round underneath Ben Oss, and then up onto it, and then come back and go round to the right, and then join the path that's over there. And I'm actually going to try and go down, if it's still there, the path that's on the west map, which goes down a broad ridge straight ahead, rather than down this bit which is a bit steeper. We'll see how that works out later. If you see these little pools of water on your right, then you're going the right way. Follow this path and keep going straight on for a while. As you can see, there's quite a bit of descent from that top going down here before we start going up. So if you get to the path, you'll come across this cairn. I had to laugh out loud when I read somebody's actually wrote on top of it. What if somebody comes and turns that round? Anyway, you can go either way, left or right. The most direct route is to go to the right here, follow that path, and it'll take you up onto the top. I'm going to go to the left. And this goes underneath the top, and then you can climb a steep slope up onto the top and come back round to this point. It just makes it a little bit more interesting. I prefer to do a circuit, as I've probably mentioned before. So I'm going to go off to the left. I've just stopped at this little stream. It's almost directly east of the summit of Beinn Oss. So I'm going to have something to drink, something to eat, refill my water bottle. The path heads mostly in a south direction, but it did get a bit faint there after that little stream. It was clear, and then this section is a bit faint. But I managed to catch up to the path again here. Once again, the path gets very vague. I think people have been going too low. Just going to go round this corner and then it turns up to the right. I followed a clear path round on the right as I was coming round. And now it goes straight up. I want to go straight up there. I just checked the map and I'm actually slightly below the route shown in the OS maps. So I didn't see that one turn off. It went a little bit sharper, more uphill. But anyway, going this way. Heading northwest. It's exactly half a kilometre to the top, 150 metres of ascent, estimated to take around 22 minutes. Just keep going up. As you'll see from the time lapse, I went up there and cut round a little bit to the right. No wonder I didn't find the path. This is it. It's obviously not very well trod in this one. So straight up here. Approaching the summit of Ben Oss, 1,029 metres. Unfortunately, no change in the weather. So if you look to the west from here, Ben Louis is just a little bit north of directly west from this summit. And on a clear day you'd easily see it over there. So that's to your left as you come up the back. I'm going to descend to the north, following the main path that most people would take to get up here. And that's clearly evident by the lack of wear that's on that path at the back. Again, no point in sticking around, nothing to see. It's a little bit breezy at the top there. Just need to come away from the summit and the wind dies down. So from the summit, head directly north to begin with, follow the path. It will gradually curve round to the east. There's a bit of a drop and then it goes up over another little top, and then you're heading pretty much directly east from that little top down to that cairn that had the writing on it. From there you're going to go left, which is heading mostly north, retracing your steps back to the Beinn where I pointed out where the track came up from the main path, and from there I'm going to try and head down the marked track on the OS maps, which goes sort of north-west and curves back around and joins up with the path I was on earlier this morning. You can actually see down there to the end of the road that we cycled up for Beinn Louis. So that turning circle was where we parked the bikes, and then you go up. So Beinn Louis is directly ahead, and a very steep face at the north side. You can see the gold mine over there, Tyndrum gold mine, and the clouds coming back again. I'm back at the little cairn, turn left, heading pretty much directly east, very slightly north of east. Retracing my steps from earlier, going to have a bit of a climb back up to the Beinn where the little lakes were, little ponds. And like I say, I'm going to try and take the leftmost path from that Beinn that goes round, curves round to the left and then back to the right. It's shown on the OS map, but I'm not sure how visible or clear it will be on the actual ground. So the final ascent of the day back up to the Beinn, the point where all the paths merge. I'm at 790 metres and that point is at 900 metres. So 110 metres to go. A little steep pull up and then should be an easy walk back out. So where you can see those two walkers going, that path goes straight back down to the path that I came up on. OS Maps shows a path going this way to the left. I can't see it on the ground, and I'm right at where the supposed junction is. So I'm going to try walking this way a little bit using the GPS. And I just want to see if I can get onto that path. It should be more of a gentle decline rather than that way. There will be more steep going down, and then you go through. Oh look, there's a cairn. There's the signs of a cairn. So maybe this is where it turns to the left. Yeah, right. We'll try going this way a wee bit. See if we can find signs of a proper path that's on OS Maps. This would be easier just following them. Clearing up a little bit. That could well be Beinn Dubhchraig. So going down this broad shoulder of the hill and then curving round to the right as I'm going down. Path, well, I'm not on it if it's here. That's not Beinn Dubhchraig. Beinn Dubhchraig is further round to the left. I think that's where the gold mine is. Back on the path again. Yeah, there's nothing to see. Would have been much easier to navigate down the main path. Wouldn't have to think about it. This route goes down here and curves round to the right and centre the screen somewhere about there. Maybe just there. So if you want an easier day, just go straight up and down the path. Well, I'm definitely on the path now. You can actually see it. You can see it down there. Let's hope it stays this clear from now on, because it was very vague. Lost the path back there and went a wee bit to the left of it, so I used the GPS again to get me back on track. I was about to just go straight across because I know the main path that is clear and visible goes right up the middle here, so if you keep going across to the right as you're descending, join back up to that. But for the meantime, back on this path, it might be okay. It's not terrible, it's not boggy, it's just hard to keep an eye on at times. Just looking back at that path I came down, I think I need some air quotes for that. Here's the main path I went up this morning, and that rock that I pointed out where that path splits off, it did join back down to exactly where I said. It's not used very much. Some people are still using it, but not enough to keep it clear and obvious where to go. So I would recommend you just follow the main well-trodden path. Be a lot easier. So from here, straightforward walk back down to the car park. Simply retracing the route taken to come in. Just looking back up at the summit of Beinn Dubhchraig, still in cloud, so it's never cleared. This is a really nice section of the walk. Got the waterfalls going down there. I'm making my way back down to the Scots Pine woodland down there, and back out to the car park. So I'm back at that original bridge, so I'll just turn to the left, cross the river, then turn left again, follow the road and back at the car park in about 5 minutes. And it looks like I timed that well, the rain's just starting to come on. Hopefully, as always, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you like the video, please give it a like. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe, and I look forward to showing you more of the Scottish mountains in the next video. That's me back at the car park. Rain's just started coming on, so thanks for watching and bye for now.